Hello, this is Andrea Gomez and welcome to our grammar review. For this lesson, we're going to practice some comparative and superlatives. These are not only used to describe people, they're also used to describe objects and places, such the homes that we were reviewing. As you can see, this series of sentences were the ones that you used to complete in the last activity. In these sentences, there are examples of comparatives and superlatives. So let's analyze some of these. Do you have an expression that describes a process of change in one of these sentences? Take a look at them and let me know. Now, if you could, you will notice that the sentence, modern homes in cities are getting smaller and smaller, uses an expression that describes a process of change, meaning that homes in cities are getting smaller every day. Expressions like these can be used in different sentences. For example, bigger and bigger. When you see a relative that you haven't seen for a while and you have seen how much it's grown up, you can say, wow, my cousin is getting bigger and bigger every day. Happier and happier, faster and faster are also other expressions that describe processes of change. Now let's look at the rest of the list and tell me if you find an expression that explains how the things change in relation to each other. Have you got it? Great. So you will notice that the expression, the colder the climate, the warmer your house needs to be, is referring to how two things can change in relation to each other. Expressions such as the hotter, the better. For instance, the hotter the coffee, the better it tastes for me. Or the happier my class, the more participative I become. The faster I save money, the bigger my incomes are rising. These are sentences that use this expression to explain how things change in relation to each other. Now, from the remaining sentences, can you find one that shows the comparative and the superlative of good? They're very easy to find. So, if you have, you'll see that traditional designs are much better in bad weather conditions, is showing the comparative form of good, as modern homes are necessarily the best design for its situation, shows the superlative form of this adjective. Good is an irregular adjective. It means that its comparative and superlative forms don't follow the same forms that other adjectives do. Other examples of irregular adjectives are bad, whose comparative is worse, and superlative is worst. So I won't say that something is more bad, but I will say mathematics is worse than science, for example. Or I have just had the worst day of my life. Another example is little. The comparative form of little is less, as the superlative is least. So, ready to practice these expressions? Awesome. So, let's remember some grammar rules. Remember that one syllable adjective, like soft, in the comparative form is adding an er to become softer. And for the superlative form, instead of er, we add est. If one syllable adjective ends in e, like nice, we just add the r or the st in the superlative. One syllable ending words with a vowel and a consonant, such as big, Double the last consonant and then add ER. And in the superlative form, it's the same process. As you can see here, they double the last consonant and add EST. For two-syllable ending in Y, like funny, you delete the I and add IER. As for the superlative, delete the Y and add IEST, I'm sorry. For two or more syllables, that means for longer words, instead of adding ER, we will add more. And we will include the adjective, like in the case that is provided here, more colorful. The same happens with the superlatives, in which we use the most colorful. And I just mentioned some irregular verbs that you can practice as well. They don't follow the same rules, so we just have to remember them. So, now that we give a little practice of the grammar rules when comparing and contrasting places, let's go to some practice. In your book on page 83, the exercise 7 will be a great opportunity for you to practice modifying comparatives using less than, not as, and as. For example, my house is less comfortable than yours. Or my apartment is not as big as yours. As you can say, my flat is as expensive as yours. For more information, you can click on the Basic British Council website, in which you will find really good explanations and some activities that you can do to practice. You can also visit the British Council Advanced, where you will find more complementary rules about modifying comparatives and superlatives. You can also visit the BBC extension to know a little bit more about houses. This will help you definitely to increase your vocabulary. Finally, as another resource, you can continue practicing with the British Council. This one is has an interesting video as well as some quizzes and exercises for you to complete. I hope that this review has been great for you. Remember, practicing makes perfect, and thank you for your attention.